So for this explainer, we're going to do something a little different. We are digging into a single source, a documentary, to really understand the powerful and, frankly, super polarized story it tells about the city of Tel Aviv. Now, our goal here isn't to fact-check every single claim. Instead, we want to break down the narrative it's building, piece by piece, and explore why that narrative is so compelling.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. We've got 5 parts. We'll start with this core contradiction the source sets up, then we'll walk through its views on the city's culture and its security, and we'll finish up with the big-picture geopolitical map that it draws for you.
All right, let's kick things off with a fundamental tension that's really at the heart of this whole story. It paints this picture of Tel Aviv as a city that is completely at odds with itself.
So on one hand, you have this image of a gleaming, almost futuristic paradise. But, on the other hand, it's condemned as this global hub of sin and immorality. Now, the key thing to get from the source is that these aren't two separate ideas. It argues they are two sides of the exact same coin, and this dual identity is the foundation for its entire argument.
So first, let's dig into how the source builds up this image of a super impressive, almost utopian city, a city that's defined by its sleek modernity and its incredible wealth. This source gives us this quick history lesson, right? It acknowledges the city's ancient past as Jaffa, but notice how it frames everything. The city's modern identity, it says, really begins in 1910. Now that's a really deliberate narrative choice, because it emphasizes that the city we see today was built almost entirely by its new Jewish inhabitants. And to give you a sense of scale, the source establishes that the metro area is home to about 4 million people. So right away, it's positioning Tel Aviv as a major player on the world stage. And, the source really paints this picture of urban perfection. We're talking skyscrapers, wide-open roads, luxury malls, a brand-new tram system, all the visual cues of a really wealthy and highly advanced society. This imagery is absolutely crucial for the contrast it's about to make. But all this modernity, it comes with a hefty price tag. The source uses this quote to make a really critical point. This so-called paradise is exclusive. It frames Tel Aviv as a city built only for the super rich, which creates the sense of a detached, kind of out-of-touch elite.
And this is where the story takes a sharp turn. After building up the city's incredible wealth, the source pivots from, well, admiration to straight-up condemnation. It starts building a completely different and way more critical image based on the city's culture.
The shift in tone is immediate and pretty jarring. A common nickname like the city that never sleeps gets totally reframed. It's no longer a sign of a vibrant, exciting nightlife. Instead, it's presented as direct proof of moral decay.
And to back this up, the video just starts listing things it presents as evidence of this widespread debauchery. It describes this culture of nonstop partying, rampant alcohol use, and what it sees as a complete rejection of traditional values when it comes to things like clothing, relationships, and marriage.
And then comes this very specific and frankly very dramatic claim. This is kind of the climax of the moral argument. The source uses this allegation as the ultimate symbol of a broken society, cementing its image of a place that has completely lost its moral compass.
Okay, so now the source connects its moral critique to a physical one. Just as we're absorbing this image of a city supposedly rotting from within, the narrative flips to describe a city under attack from the outside. We go from parties to war, just like that.
The documentary opens with this really powerful statement, using this language of pride being turned into dust. The central claim here is that Tel Aviv isn't just under threat. No, it's actively being destroyed, right now, by what it says are daily missile attacks from Iran.
It then lays out this civil defense procedure that, it claims, is now just a routine part of daily life. This isn't presented as some occasional emergency, but as a constant, repeating cycle of threat and escape for everyone who lives there.
But right after creating this sense of an orderly defense system, the source pulls the rug out from under you. It asks this question, casting serious doubt on whether this whole system even works at all.
And here's the core assertion, that Iran's military technology is just overwhelming Israeli defenses. It's destroying the very shelters that are meant to keep people safe. The message it's sending is crystal clear. There is nowhere to hide.
So you're probably thinking, okay, if all this destruction is happening, why isn't it all over the news? Well, the source has a simple explanation for that. A complete and total media blackout. This is a classic narrative technique, right? Alleged conspiracy to hide the truth, which then positions the documentary itself as the real, unfiltered story.
And for the final piece of the puzzle, the source zooms way out. It takes its very specific, localized story about Tel Aviv and places it inside a much broader international context, defining friends and foes on a global scale.
This table really just lays out the source's worldview in pretty stark black and white terms. It's a world of clear allies and clear enemies. India is framed as a funded ally, Iran is the main adversary, and then Pakistan is positioned as the next major existential threat on the horizon.
The source really emphasizes Pakistan's power with this incredibly dramatic claim. It presents Pakistan's nuclear capability as the ultimate game changer, a single missile threat that it alleges has existed since 1947 and is the main thing checking Israeli power in the region.
So, when you put all of these pieces together, the expensive modern city, the condemnation of its sinful culture, the claims of its ongoing destruction, and this very specific geopolitical map, what is the overall story that's being told here?
Ultimately, what it all boils down to is this. The source creates a direct link between Tel Aviv's perceived moral failings and its alleged military vulnerability. The story isn't just about geopolitics. It's a narrative of reckoning, where a city's debauchery supposedly makes it fragile and destined to fall to its more disciplined and fearless enemies.
So we'll leave you with this final question. We didn't try to verify the claims in this documentary. Instead, we've deconstructed the story it tells. Understanding how these powerful, biased narratives are built isn't just some academic exercise. It's a crucial skill for navigating an information world where the most compelling story, whether it's true or not, can often be the one that wins.